What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I put something on YouTube yesterday, a post, a text post that I've lost control gas completely. And it's true, I have. This is the first of a few irrational gas decisions that I have made. Although this one probably has the most amount of thought of any of them that I've tried to make or I'm looking at making right now. Now, as you guys know, I have this Sony A7, which is a big clump of hair on the lens. I have the Sony A7R V, which is recording me now. And I also have this ZV-1 Mark II. The truth is, awesome camera, best camera ever used. I don't like using it. It's truth, I don't, but it's a great camera. This also very, very awesome in terms of making content. Awesome at it. Hate shooting photos with it. Will it stick around? I don't know. I only have so much money to spend. These cameras all add a lot, or cost a lot of money. I have to make some decisions. However, one camera I've had for a long time, had in the past, similar camera to this, was the LX 100 series cameras. The reason why I liked them is because, well, it's a micro four thirds sensor. It is a 24 to 75 zoom lens. It's f1.7 to f, I think 2.8. And it's small, compact, not necessarily jean pocketable, but definitely jacket pocketable. And it just, I don't know, felt like a more proper camera in your hand versus something else. It has a viewfinder, that kind of stuff. The LX 100 Mark III never came. Kind of waited for it. Looked at buying an LX 100 Mark II or Mark I, and truthfully, I could have bought one of those because not much has really changed. However, the D-LUX 8 came out, I think, about a year ago now, and I was very interested in it, but I thought it was extremely overpriced for what it is. It's just a rebadging of the older LX 100 Mark II in a lot of ways. But there's a couple of things that intrigued me about this camera. One is its design. It went to more of the Leica Q design, and I like that. Has more of the button layout that the Leica Q has. And they started doing proper DNG files on here, not RW2 files that, like the Lumix cameras had. And it just seemed like more and more I thought about it, this would be a really great camera. Here's the reason why I think this might be a really great option. And I'll give you some reasons why I think it might not be a great option. Reasons why. One, it's beautiful design. I like to tell you many times on this channel, I have to be able to want to pick it up. I have to want to use it. I have to want to just create with it. It has to kind of like feel good in my hands. This feels better than any one LX 100s I ever had did. And it feels kind of like a baby like a Q. So that's kind of cool. Two, it has kind of still that retro aesthetic with the shutter speed dial on top, albeit it's maximum at 1/2000th. I think it's kind of limited, but we'll talk about that more later. It has a variable focal length lens, so it's a zoom lens. It's 24 to 75. So again, if I want to go wide, if I want to go tighter, most of my stuff is shot between 24 and 75. In fact, my last vacation I shot with this 24 to 50. I wish I had just a little bit longer in reach, but I shot 98% of what I wanted to on this 24 to 50, and it was just fine. So that was really great. This camera has a viewfinder. If you guys see the viewfinder right there, a big problem I had with this ZV-1 Mark II was that in the bright sunlight, I was at the beach or whatever, I could not see what I was composing with this camera. And I'm kind of the opinion now that no EVF is probably a deal breaker. So that's a bit of a problem for me. What else about this camera? Well, it allows me to do, if I can get this to focus right there. Autofocus is great. Manual focus, great, has a proper manual focusing ring on it, but it also has kind of a macro mode. That's a lot of versatility that I'm interested in, so that's really cool. And of course, this camera has the multi-aspect ratio, which isn't as big a deal to me because you can do that anyways in post, but if you want to shoot natively in like a 16:9 or a 1:1 format, or micro four thirds 4:3 aspect, or 4/3 sensor aspect, which by the way is my favorite aspect ratio, I think that's really cool as well. So for all those reasons, just the ergonomics, I mean like the design aesthetic, kind of like a Leica Q, having some of that like retro filament inspiration with, the little bit of like the shutter speed dial and stuff on top. And just it having a really nice look to it with the zoom lens and macro capabilities. I was definitely digging it. And so I wanted to pick it up. But there were a lot of reasons why I didn't pick it up the first time. And in fact, this first one is even worse now. When I first looked at it, this thing was like $1,600, the all black one. And you can go buy an LX 100 Mark II or our LX 100 Mark I and be just as close for a fraction of the price. Well, it's gotten worse. This is the 100 anniversary edition one, so it's a little bit more expensive. And then the whole tariff thing here in the US, because this is made in China, has increased the price on this as well. And so this was more like $2,100 or $2,200, which that is the one thing that makes me really reconsider even purchasing thing in the first place. But I had to kind of scratch the itch, and so I did. Again, this is not a phase detect autofocus system. This is contrast based. It's not leveraging what's in the SL3 or new Panasonic cameras. This is an older lens, although a very good zoom lens, so no problem, no complaints there. And it is an older 20 megapixel micro four thirds sensor. It's not using the 25 megapixel sensor that's in the newer Panasonic micro four thirds cameras. So it's really, in a lot of ways, just a better design and shell on an older package. And that's true. It's very expensive. On top of that, where this camera kills it, and this camera candidly does not, is this does video, but there's no microphone input. And as far as I know, you can't use any of these jacks for a microphone. Even if you did, the rear screen is fixed. Now, some people might say this is a pro or a con. I kind of see it as a little bit of both. For video, obviously, a major con. For me, that wants to keep it real sleek and compact, I like this. And so those are kind of the cons with this as well. Now, in saying that, what I'm interested in this camera for is, one, DNG finals, very, very nice. Nice build, design, aesthetic, all that stuff, feels good in hand. But this camera I can throw in my jacket pocket and go to a concert. For example, I'm going to see Rufus Du Sol in August. There's no way I'm taking my Sony A7R V or any other camera I pick up between now and then, which is in the mail, to that concert. I could certainly take this and it would get good video and it would be more than capable, although only 18 to 50. But I don't like shooting with this, right? And then on top of that, no flash, which is where this piece comes in right here. This little flash comes on top. And so you can just mount this bad boy right on top here and you have a little flash as well. Now, I wish it tilted and I wish it did a bunch of other things, but it doesn't. But still, having a flash is really, really great. And I'll be honest with you, there's just something about this design that makes me feel like I'll pick this up more than any other option out there. Sans maybe like an X100 which you can't get, but this is smaller still. Now, I'll be honest with you with one more thing before I picked this up. There's a lot of consideration to cost. And I thought a lot about, like, why not just go grab an older XE2 or an XE3 and throw a 27mm pancake on there, or why not go get like a GX85 and throw, you know, a small lens on it. Kind of the same thing. And I'll be honest, I'll still think about that. But something about this, I don't have to invest in the micro four thirds system. This is just, it is what it is, and it covers most of the bases, and it's a beautiful design. Feels really good in hand. It's all magnesium body, I believe it is. And it's got most of the bases covered that I would want. It feels really premium. The buttons click really nice. I mean, and it's just, it feels real solidly built. And if I were to do anything to this, I would add the little grip that comes with it just to give it a little bit of better ergonomics. And then I'll leave it alone. But the fact that I have like my shutter speed up top here, and I have the, you know, aperture ring here in the front that I can click or move around, it gives me kind of Fuji vibes. It kind of gives me more of that manual control vibes, but it's an autofocus camera with the zoom lens on it, and it's still very much jacket pocketable. And I look forward to potentially using this if I decide to keep it on the bench while I'm coaching. This fits in my jacket pocket. This can get a lot of the behind the scenes moments of like my kids and stuff like that while I'm bopping around. And I have a feeling, especially after the last vacation I went on, that I would use this camera far more than I've ever used the A7R V that's filming me now. And this type of camera, for me anyways, as like Mr. Dad Cam guy, is probably far more important than anything else. I consider the Lumix S9, very much so. But lens selection there is pretty limited, and no viewfinder after experience kind of what this was like of my vacation. I don't think I'm into it. So I'm passing on it. With that said, guys, I will give you my some thoughts and a further review down the road. I just wanted to unbox this and give some initial impressions. It feels good in hand. It feels well built. The materials feel really good. It doesn't feel chintzy. So far, impressed. And so I am actually going on a dinner date with my wife tonight here. It's her birthday. I'm going to put this in the car, bring it with me. Maybe I'll grab a few pics of her if she'll let me, or just take it on vacation or on the date with me and see what I can capture. Although, certainly I'll be focused on my wife more so than I will be taking pictures. Just more documenting the moment than anything else. And that's the point of this camera. All right, guys, stick around. We'll talk more about this D-LUX 8 100th Anniversary Edition. You can see a little 100 up there on top on the hot shoe. I'm excited for it. See you guys in the next one.